Khasi Hills, we were very upset to be informed that the numbers of HIV/AIDS in the state of Meghalaya is increasing very alarmingly. 5,000 plus cases of HIV/AIDS positive in the state of Meghalaya. That is something which is very unfortunate. And we have had a detailed discussion with the entire departments of police as well as Department of Social Welfare on how we need to immediately address the issue of commercial sex workers. The police did not deny matters that were discussed on the floor of the House, and the police, including the Social Welfare Department, has given us the assurance that the government will now design a policy specific to address the issue of HIV/AIDS in the background of commercial sex workers in the state of Meghalaya. It is true that the numbers of CSWs across the state are very high and alarming. And government, in the representation of the Principal Secretary of Social Welfare, has already given us assurance that we will re-meet to plan a roadmap to address this very big social evil in the state of Meghalaya. We had also discussed at length the application of various acts, various sections of law that are applicable in the state of Meghalaya to try and curb trafficking, especially trafficking of minors, which to me and to anyone is a heinous crime. We also had a long discussion where officers at the level of the DCs, officers at the level of SPs, and other officials of the Department of Social Welfare were present in all the 3 districts. We are now going to be appraising even our colleagues in the Legislative Assembly of all of these details, and we are going to sit and brainstorm and find out ways and means to ensure that HIV/AIDS, commercial sex workers, crimes against women and children are put under control in these 3 districts. More or less, this is a nutshell of what we discussed. The 1,538, only 200 have agreed to test. Because there is no law in the land which makes testing mandatory. So a policy has to be put in place.
The other issue that is a concern is that there is the absence of shelter homes for women. Repeatedly, this committee has apprised to the government also that shelter homes for women, exclusively for women, has to be set up. It could be a rehabilitation center, it could be a de-addiction center. Now, if suppose there is any woman who is a drug addict, then there is no place for her to be kept, and she has to be kept along with the men. And therefore, we need an exclusive de-addiction center or a home for a woman to be counseled, to be treated for such acts. The other issue that really concerned the committee was the prevalence of HIV among sex workers in the East Castle district. We have the project director Max, who attended this discussion today, and the project director Max gave us a report that as of now there are more than 200 sex workers who are carrying HIV in them. Now you can imagine what could be the ultimate fallout of such diseases. Now if there are 200 sex workers in the city having HIV, now we have to alert everybody that this is a time that we should be very careful. We would not like to shame them. We would like to help them. We would not like to stigmatize anyone like that. But if there are such people who are carrying HIV in them, I would request them to kindly volunteer and go and meet the Max Society, who are ready to help, free of cost. All medication for any HIV patient is free of cost from the government. So therefore, I would sincerely appeal to anybody, any citizen of the state who is an HIV carrier, to kindly take care and kindly protect yourself and take medications through the Max Society or from the government, which is free of cost. Now, having learned that there are many sex workers who are carrying HIV, we have to be on the alert. Therefore, this committee is going to review this whole thing in 2 months' time again. We have given 2 months' time to the health authorities, to the social welfare authorities, to the district administration, to the police, and to the Max Society to come back in 2 months' time with a roadmap. What is the roadmap that you have with you, or you're preparing yourself to tackle this menace? It is a social problem for us now. Now therefore, when we hear of such sex workers walking around in the city, then we have to be careful. These sex workers need to be rehabilitated. Our committee today discussed at length with the Social Welfare Principal Secretary of what are the modalities that the government is coming up to help these women, help these sex workers to come to the mainstream. Let us bring them back home. Let us give them some good schemes so that they could rehabilitate it and leave the sex work behind. And therefore, we would like to follow up on these issues, and we hope that the state government, we hope that the officers will come up with a concrete plan. The committee suggested to the Social Welfare Department to frame a policy, a state scheme. Right now there is only Swadhar Grey. Under the Swadhar Grey, it is a scheme provided by the Government of India to rehabilitate all these sex workers.
5 months.
For 5 months. Sorry, for 5 years.
5 years. Sorry.
For 5 years. Now, this scheme is not functioning well in the state. It is because the fund flow is very, very slow from Government of India. Therefore, this committee has requested the Principal Secretary of Social Welfare to frame a new scheme, a state-related scheme, wherein this scheme should dovetail the health sector, it should dovetail the social sector, and other sectors which could help in providing a package for these sex workers, so that these women will leave this job and come and take the scheme and reform themselves into a human being of the state with responsibility. Now, if these women are given a sense of responsibility with a particular scheme and a package, I'm sure they are ready to take it. So that is what we discussed today, and we hope in 2 months' time we should be able to meet again to get more inputs from the respective departments.
What was worrisome in West Jaintia Hills is that the increase of teenage pregnancies was very, very alarming. 500 plus cases of teenage pregnancies between the months months of March till today. Now that is a huge wrong indicator of how things are not going right in the community. We as a committee have decided to be travelling to these two districts between the 21st, 22nd and 23rd of April to have an on-the-ground, first-hand information on how cases are progressing and how a sense of security is being sent out to the public at large, who at this point of time in these two districts is very, very, has been taken a beating. Is that 3 out of every 1,000 pregnant women are actually testing positive for HIV. Now that again is a big, big shocker for all of us. And government has to now become aggressive in its redressal on this entire HIV/AIDS agenda. The other issue that I had discussed with the Principal Secretary was the absence of a chairperson for the Meghalaya State Women Commission. Many months have gone by and we've not seen any individual being installed in that position to date. And this will automatically disadvantage agendas for women. So Jainti Hills Police gave us a very satisfactory report on the recent discovery of a young girl murdered on the highway. Police are confident that they will be able to have enough evidence to charge sheet a suspect, but those investigations are also ongoing and cannot be divulged to the public at large or to the committee in particular. What told them to regroup and come out with a proper study to give us strong indicators as to what are the causes for the increase of HIV/AIDS in the state of Meghalaya. Is it drugs? Is it sex workers? What is the cause? Where is this nightmare coming from? If we don't even know the source of this rise of positive cases, then we're heading in for a big trouble.
Yes, Rohit.